Happy Halloween! Or well, I'm not sure when this video is going to come out, but I'm sure it'll be around the spooky season, so I'll still wish you a happy Halloween. This year I wanted to make a sculpture based off of a horror game, and since I love Little Nightmares, and they're not too hard to sculpt, I thought 6 in mono would be a perfect choice. Let me know if you're also familiar with the game. It's great timing considering Little Nightmares 3 just released this month as well. Very exciting. But yes, let's get to the sketch. I'm not going to make them entirely accurate to their game models. I'm going for something more my style. So they're a bit shorter and their heads are much bigger. More babyfied. For the scene, Mono is holding Six's hand and pulling her along. I'm gonna try to keep the background simple, cause I already know sculpting the two characters are going to be a lot of work. I just make the base look like there are floorboards and I scattered a few papers on the ground. But yeah, that's all. Time to sculpt.
Sculpting!
Here are my two foil structures for Mono and Six. Their head shapes are really interesting. Great silhouettes. I'm going to start with Mono first, getting his whole body clayed up. Also trying to sharpen the edges more. Smacking his head against the table. I'm rolling a long piece of clay to wrap around the bottom of the paper bag, so I can smooth it in. I need the bottom to come out a little more. Now I draw on the paper bag details along the sides and the top. Time to make his eye holes. I just mark where I want them to be, and then push in with the back of my tool. That's pretty much it for the head. Moving on to the body. I'm gluing some clay onto his legs for his pants. These are for the pant cuffs. For his coat that's super flared out in the back, I flatten out a big piece of clay and wrap it around the back. Then I smooth it in. Now I work on smoothing the front pieces of his coat on. His sleeves are next. His hands. I'm sculpting in his little fingers. Then I can pop them on. His little coat buttons go on now. And I'm cutting little triangles for his collar. Now I'm making his key. And gluing that on his hip. This is the flashlight. I roll out a disc, then a cylinder. I press in the front of the flashlight, then glue the two pieces together. Now he can have all of his accessories. His feet are next. I smooth lumps of clay on, then sculpt in his toes. And Mono is finished.
Next!
Now I'll be claying up Six. I'm pushing in a little space for where I want her face to be inside the hood. Then I also try my best to sharpen the edges on the hood. I smooth on a little flat piece of clay for her face. Then make pieces for her hair. First the side pieces. And this is her choppy bangs. Time to smooth all that in. I roll a long piece of clay so I can wrap it around her face. I blend it into the rest of the hood. The head's done. Now I can work on her coat. I add button details onto her front. And also pop on her pockets, making sure it's all squared off all around. Time for her arms, which I make the same way I did with Mono's arms. The feet are also the same way too. I stick on 2 lumps of clay, and then work on shaping them and making the toes. 6 is done. They're both ready to go into the oven, get baked, and then prep for painting.
Paint time!
So I started painting and immediately injured myself. Funnily enough, I caught it on camera. I mean, not on screen, but you can hear the moment I cut myself on the blade. I was rummaging around my art tool drawer and dug my finger into a loose blade I forgot to put back into its case. My own dumb mistake. So, just a warning for that.
Leading up to our wedding, I obviously had to have bridesmaids, and I really went back and forth about.
I ran off and immediately cleaned the cut and put on a band-aid. Bled during spooky season while working on my horror sculpture. How fitting. Okay, back on task. I paint Mono's paper bag a light brown, and when it's all dry, I dab around the edges of the bag with a darker brown, to make it look a little dirtier. I mess around with darker browns and lighter browns over and over. It had to look perfect. I then color in the eye holes with dark brown, and with black. Onto the coat. I mix this dirty brown with a hint of green in it. I paint the whole coat that color. I mix lighter versions to highlight a few parts of the coat. With the lightest color, I add little button wrinkles. I wanted to make it cartoonier, so I'm painting in darker green lines here and there. I really liked how it looked, so I went back and added brown lines to the paper bag too. It gives him so much more character. Painting in his pants a dark brown, and brushing on just a bit of lighter brown, even though it's barely visible. I paint his feet and hands, then paint black onto the flashlight. The light part I paint bright yellow and white. The key is also black. Ta-da!
Next!
6's raincoat is yellow. I'm loving all these iconic yellow raincoats. They're so cute. I brush on a lighter yellow over the top of her hood, and on a couple other parts of her body. I use a darker yellow to add some line details. Then I get started on her hair. It's painted black. Here I'm painting barely noticeable gray highlights. And then her skin is next. The only feature I need to paint on her face is her mouth. And that's pretty much it. She's done.
Next.
The base I start out with a dark brown. Then I brush in a lighter brown in the center to give it some lighting. I'm making the floor panels using a dark brown for the lines. And then adding the wood details. And break up the panels. I use a light brown for the highlights on the wood. And use black for the nails. Lastly, I add the white pieces of paper. Here's the base. I just need to glue these two onto the base. You get the gist. There's not much to assemble.
Success! Whoopee!
They look so good. I realized their heads ended up being much bigger, but honestly it makes them look even cuter. I'm loving the base floor panels so much. I'm really proud of that. And just in general, I'm happy with how the sculptures came out. It might even look better in real life than in the sketch. It's time to thank my beloved channel members. Thank you Doodle Moose, Ghosty Faye, Sunny Madoka, Asen, Diamond Doodling, AZ, Isabella Ferreira, @Hoob, Jessica Corbett, and Dr. Rook. I really truly appreciate your support in helping me keep the channel running. Channel members get exclusive behind the scenes videos, early sneak peeks into my projects, and more. Thank you for watching! Leave a like if you liked the video, and subscribe if you want to see more projects from me. I hope you all had a great spooky season. I love that I got to sculpt something a little creepier, even though they're mostly still cute. Let me know what other horror games you like, and if you have any favorites. I hope to see you again for my next sculpture project.
Bye-bye!